Hello, welcome to Letters of Paul to the Philippines. What we are about to discuss is a letter to the whole world, an encyclical letter titled Magnifica Humanitas, but this time by His Holiness Pope Leo XIV on safeguarding the human person in the time of artificial intelligence. This document is not just about technology. It is about what kind of humanity we are becoming. It asks a question that sounds simple, but is actually decisive. When human intelligence builds systems more powerful than itself, will we still be able to remain human? The encyclical begins with a concern. Families are becoming fragile under economic pressure. Work is unstable. Young people struggle to find identity and direction. And beneath all of this is a deeper shift. Technology is no longer just a tool. It is becoming a system that shapes how we think, choose, and relate. Artificial intelligence is especially powerful here because it does not only perform tasks, it influences attention, decisions, and even perception of truth. And slowly, without noticing it, human freedom becomes less visible. The encyclical introduces a powerful biblical image, the Tower of Babel. In the story, humanity becomes united, not in love or truth, but in ambition. They say, "Let us build a tower to reach the heavens." It represents a world where human power becomes absolute, where unity is achieved through technology and strength, but not through wisdom. And the result is not elevation, but confusion, not harmony, but fragmentation. The encyclical uses this image to describe our time. A civilization capable of building extraordinary technological systems, yet increasingly unable to understand itself. Because when power becomes the highest goal, communication breaks down, trust collapses, and humanity becomes scattered again. A modern Babel is not built with bricks. It is built with data, networks, algorithms, and systems of control. From this Babel-like condition emerges what the document calls the culture of power, a world shaped by domination instead of dialogue, efficiency instead of dignity, fear instead of trust, and competition instead of communion. Even international relations begin to shift. Peace becomes fragile, war becomes normal, and conflict becomes manageable through technology. But the encyclical warns, when force becomes the primary language of politics, human dignity becomes secondary. And when dignity becomes secondary, violence becomes acceptable. The encyclical then turns to artificial intelligence in warfare. It warns that autonomous systems lower the threshold for war. Decisions become faster, but less human. Victims become numbers instead of faces. And it states something very clearly. No algorithm can make war moral. Because morality is not computation. It is responsibility. When lethal decisions are automated, something breaks. Something breaks the chain of accountability. And when accountability disappears, violence becomes easier to justify. This is where Avengers Endgame becomes a powerful mirror. After the snap caused by Thanos, the Avengers are no longer united because Thanos made around half of the Avengers disappear. the Avengers and the whole universe were disassembled. Similarly, our world now is fractured, not only in strength, but in existence. What remains is a universe where loss is everywhere, and connection has been broken at a cosmic scale. It is a picture of total fragmentation, and that reflects the Encyclical's warning. A civilization can still exist technologically, but be internally disassembled. Power remains, but unity is gone. Capability remains, but meaning is lost. In Endgame, hope begins when the scattered Avengers begin to return. Not all at once, but gradually. And what follows is a restoration of unity against overwhelming odds. This is the moment where disassembly begins to be reversed. The Encyclical offers a parallel vision through the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah lived during a time when Jerusalem had been destroyed after invasion by the Babylonians, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, and exile in Babylon. This was the modern-day Iraq, and this was in 586 BC. Jerusalem was conquered, and the first temple was destroyed. The city was in ruins. Its walls were broken down. Its gates were burned. The people were vulnerable, scattered, and without protection or identity. That is why when the Babylonians fell and the Persians rose to power, Nehemiah returned to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, not as a symbol of pride, but as a necessity for protection, dignity, and communal restoration. Brick by brick, with the people, he rebuilt what had been destroyed. The Encyclical calls this same spirit today the civilization of love, not built on domination, but on justice, dialogue, dignity, solidarity, and shared responsibility. Technology is not rejected, but it must be placed under moral direction. AI must serve humanity, not redefine it. The goal is not only progress, but integral human flourishing. The Encyclical insists history is not finished. Even in fragmentation like in Babel, even in disassembly like Endgame, rebuilding is possible. And not just by leaders, but by everyone who chooses responsibility over resignation. Because the future is not shaped by systems alone, but by human decisions. The Tower of Babel shows what happens when humanity reaches upward in pride, but forgets wisdom. Nehemiah shows what happens when broken cities are rebuilt through shared effort and courage. Avengers Endgame shows what happens when a universe is disassembled, but how it can still be restored through unity. The Encyclical Magnifica Humanitas brings all of this into our time. We are not destined for fragmentation. We are called to rebuilding, not unity imposed by force, but unity born from love. So the question remains, in a world of Babel-like confusion, Nehemiah-like reconstruction, and Endgame-like disassembly, what will we choose? Will we remain scattered? Or will we respond to the call of our time as one humanity? And so the call is heard again. Avengers, assemble. And in the deeper language of our time, it becomes humanity, assemble.